Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Rakah Kwadash. And shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. And we'll get right into the video. I'm going to title this video, Response to Our GMS Flunkies. The answer may surprise you. So I'm going to let you listen, and I got some precepts lined up here. So listen up. I hope you can hear it clearly.
Recently, there was a derogatory word that was levied or tossed in the direction of Great Millstone among two brothers, directed at brothers in GMS. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, all right? And this video is going to be entitled, Are GMS Flunkies? The answer may surprise you. So the story goes like this. This is going to be a quick response too. I want to make a quick video here. Not meant to be very long at all, but I looked up this word probably 2 weeks ago now. You brothers and sisters may be familiar with the elder priest Daniello from Lions of Israel. He did a movie, or he was involved in a movie called Karagma. And when brothers critiqued the movie spiritually and asked a few questions about the movie and made our objective points of view about it, it was discovered that the movie didn't really tell what the mark of the beast was. And we wanted to know plainly from Priest Dan what the mark of the beast was or what it is. Now, what he did say was he got an attitude, of course, as these different Israelites do. When they be wishy-washy and they want to answer directly, they'll start, hurling insults, as he did. And anyway, he thought it was an insult. He proclaimed that, certain of us were flunkies, trying to gain brownie points with our leaders to get a seal clap. And the word that he used was flunky, okay? Now, I looked the word up. Let's look at it right now. So my question is, are GMS flunkies? Let's see what it says.
Flunky.
Now it says noun derogatory. So it's meant to be a derogatory word, an insult, right? But you have to remember that when we deal with this truth and we deal with the scriptures and, truth in general, a lot of times we look like the enemies to the world. The scriptures say that we would be looked at that way, right? A lot of things, just like when people say you're brainwashed, they mean it in a derogatory way. But when you look at the words brainwashed, it's that you had your brain cleansed. You see? So with this word flunky, it says derogatory, a livered manservant or footman. If you look at the similar words, it says lackey, steward. Now the word steward is in the Bible. Yahweh Shai said that we were stewards of his gospel. Steward, a person who looks after the passengers on a ship, aircraft, or train and brings them meals. That's just one of the words, right? So looking at the word flunky again, it says here in the definition, a person who performs relatively menial tasks for someone else, especially obsequiously. Now we look up a few of these words. What's the word menial mean?
So Priest Daniela call the followers GMS a bunch of flunky, huh? Sound like jealousy to me. But anyway, let's go on with it. So he's reading the speaker, Manat Zakbar is speaking, going into the definition of the word flunky is somebody who does menial tasks. Well, I don't think this truth is a menial task. We tell them, well, let's mention that. I'm gonna let you listen to some more that they got to do. Well, he mentions it in his video. that you guys got to do a video every day or 3 videos a week or whatever. We're throwing orders at you, which if nobody likes it, they can leave. They can leave. They can leave the truth. Okay, because in order for you to be a part of the camp, you got to constantly qualify to stay in the camp, meaning you got to do works. That's why you're in the camp, to do works, not to hold the wall up or, count the change in your pocket, meaning hands in your pocket. You got to do work, So if we got to snap that whip, we're going to snap that whip. And if you don't like it, you can leave. All right.
Real quick, look up meaning of work not requiring much skill and lacking prestige. Another definition is unskilled. So in some ways, we do the work that doesn't require a whole lot of skill, meaning what? Going out there speaking the truth, teaching the word. We're not the most polished guy.
But what we do is high skills because we're going in the words, the root words, the Hebrew, the Greeks. This is not no menial task that we're doing or the followers are doing. That's why people come and ask us questions. What does this mean? And what does that mean? And what does the scripture mean? And what does that? And could you give me a Hebrew name? Because they don't know how to. If somebody come on a comment board asking myself or anybody else in GMS a question concerning the scriptures, it's obvious they don't have the answer and they don't know how to search it out. So they come to us. So guess what? We the ones that do. If we don't have the answer, we gotta do the study to get the answer. Normally, 99.9% of the time, you know what I mean. The majority of the time, that we already have the answer. Now, every once in a while, he might ask a question, and somebody might say, "Well, we'll get back to you on that." And might get back to you 15 minutes later. But most of the questions that people ask, uh, we have the answers to because we constantly going through the scriptures, constantly putting up videos. We didn't cover everything. We didn't cover every subject. If you don't think we covered a particular subject, then ask the question. We'll do a video on it through the Spirit. Okay. So this is not us teaching this word is not a menial task. That's why so many people. If it was such a menial task, there wouldn't be people meaning easy work. There wouldn't be people falling out. There wouldn't be people getting emotional over the grape doctrine. Instead of getting emotional, you should do what was taught. What was taught to you at the main school. There's a reason why we went into the Hebrew and the Greek and looked up maps, because we're not a Baptist church. You got a lot of you guys are Baptist Israelites, holy roller Israelites. If the emotion hits you, you go with your emotions. So we're like the grape doctrine. You got if you can't see it, and you a guy that been in this thing for a number of years, a studied man, and you can't see it, guess what? Your emotions is getting in the way. So you got to you got to leave the emotions at the door. Right? Same thing with the charagma, the MOTB. A lot of you guys can't see it because the Most High don't want you to see it. Or you took the bag. So this is not what we're teaching, what the men that come up under us are teaching. Then that's not a menial task. They study too. Okay, and anybody can roll up on them and ask them a question, so they got to be ready. What did Peter say? Also, I'm merely paraphrasing. Always be ready to give an answer to them that asketh. So let's listen to a little bit more.
Guys, we don't look like we don't have million dollar words, but what we do have is given to us through the Spirit. Right? Now that word medial again.
Yeah, we don't have $1 million words. We don't have a theological terminology that we use, like vocab alone. The Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians 14, I would rather speak 5 words to you than 10,000 words in an unknown tongue. So this is what vocab does. This is one of his demonic tactics. He'll come up and use a Greek word and call himself stumping the brothers. I'm not fluent in Greek. If you use a Greek word, I gotta say, what do you mean? Where's this in the scriptures? And then we go see what the Greek word is. So why would you use a Greek? You use a Greek word, Pericles, which means I think that means the Holy Spirit. You use it on Uncle Jephthah. Bishop Jephthah went left. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. That old wine bottle and burst too many holes, and all that wine is seeping out of this guy. I'm talking about Bishop Jephthah. He's done. He's finished. He don't know what's going on. You had your time. You had your time to rule, and your time of rulership is over, Jack. So let's listen to some more.
Y'all bear with me here, Salakia. All right. And like I said, I want to do a quick response or a quick video to this. Because I'm only gonna read one or two scriptures, but I just wanted to bring this to light. It says lacking prestige. That's another part of being, right? Being a lackey. It lacks prestige. We don't get all the glamour and the glitz of the Israelites. We're known as the offscouring of the world, is what the scripture said would happen.
We ain't supposed to get the prestige. It's prestige, prestigious titles, and woe unto them when all men, speak good of thee. I'm merely paraphrasing. Matthew 10 says we will be hated. So our master was hated, which is Yahweh Shai. If I was hated, talking about the master, I'm quoting what the master said, Yahweh Shai, then you will be hated as well. It says we're going to prophesy Revelation 11 in sackcloth. Now, when you look it up in the NLT, the word is burlap. A burlap bag is like when you put, if you back in the day, you used to buy these big bags of potatoes, and they put it in a burlap bag, and what you would do is you would throw that bag out. So in mourning, you would have the burlap bag. You would make it into a garment. Now they showed you that, and it shows you that he was a Hebrew. In the movie The Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, when his father died, he wore a white garment, Israelite garment, and he had a what do you call it, sackcloth over top of it. I happen to have a sackcloth garment, okay, which shows you that they have, Israelite roots. I don't know how many percentage of Moabites are Israelites, but they're definitely Israelites mingled among the Moabites in China. China's a big place. There's videos. Look up. Go to the Black origins of China, and it'll show you that China became great through Black people, whether they're dark skinned Moabites or actually Jake. Jake. They everywhere they go. What does it say in the scriptures? We were scattered throughout the whole planet. So, the IUIC had did a video on Jeezy marrying this chick, May, and he said that's what happens when you marry a Moabite. Well, we don't know that she's a Moabite. She could be a Jake. She could be an Ephraimite, a Judite. I know one thing: she's through. Ain't nobody. She's trash now. Ain't no celebrity want to be associated with her. She's trash now. She's complete trash. Jay-Z said, fuck this. And Jake tolerate women, but she did some things that said, man, fuck this bitch. I'm breaking this hoe off. Because she had a mother living there, which that Moabite, that's a traditional thing. But she had a brother up in there. The family was also always asking for money. You don't do that shit. You don't do that old nigga shit. Well, that for one more reason, because a nigga will do that. Jake in the hood, they'll ask you for $5, $10, and they'll tell you to give it back to you next week, and you don't see them for 6 months. And then when you see them, they running. Okay. So anytime I give a Jake that I know they ask for $5, $10, I give it to them, and I know I'm not going to get it back. So I don't even sweat it, you know? So anyway, that's what, Moab got that from from Jake, unless you can prove me otherwise. Let's listen to some more. Let's listen to some more.
See if I can bring that up. Off scouring. And you can see I got all kind of hell breaking loose here. Blue letter. All right. And if I can spell this word correctly. Off scouring. Is that the word? Yeah. This is 1 Corinthians 4 and verse 11. I started verse 10. It says, I started 9. For I think that the Most High has set forth us, the apostles, last, as it were appointed to death, for we have made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men. We are fools for Hamashiach's sake, but ye are wise in Hamashiach. We are weak, but ye are strong. Ye are honorable, but we are despised. Even to this present hour we both hunger and thirst, and are naked and are buffeted, and have no certain dwelling place. And labor, working with our own hands, being reviled, we bless. Being persecuted, we suffer it. Being defamed, we entreat. We are made as the filth of the world, and are the offscouring of things unto this day. What's the word offscouring mean? Offscouring. The Greek word paripsima. I'm sure that's not the correct pronunciation, but that's what I see it is. It says what is wiped off, dirt rubbed off scouring, scrapings. Something brushed all around, i.e. off scrapings, off scouring. So, people look at us as like the gum under the bottom of their shoe, right? They think we don't have respect, but we do have respect from our Lord. All right. Now it goes on. A person who performs relatively menial tasks for someone else, especially obsequiously, obedient or attentive to an excessive or servile degree. And that's really a compliment. We're obedient to the word, to what Yahweh wants us to do, and to an excessive or servile degree. For example, many people say, where does it say in the Bible, y'all got to do a video every day or 3 videos a week? Y'all, that's too much or whatever. We are obedient and attentive to that's too much. Where does it say in the excessive or servile degree? For example, many people say, where does it say in the Bible, y'all got to do a video every day or 3 videos a week? Y'all, that's too much or whatever. Y'all got to do a video degree. For example, many people say, where does it say in the Bible, y'all got to do a video every day or 3 videos a week? Y'all, that's too much or whatever.
That's why you ain't in the camp. That's why the father, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakwadash, didn't lead you to the camp. So we got guys in there that they dragging their feet, they got their hands in their counting change in their pocket. They holding up the wall. They're gonna be out. They're gonna be, hey, Mr. Waters, you're gonna be out of here. If I don't get my rent at the end of the week, somebody gonna be out of here. Inside joke. So that's why you're not in the camp. You got to work when you come into this camp. Hey, the scripture, and I didn't put this in this list that I put together. I put a list of a handful of precepts. One of the precepts that I didn't put in, but I was going to put in, but I didn't, was it speaks about being a soldier, right? So a soldier takes orders from the higher officership. You can't go any higher than the apostles. The highest rank is the apostles. That's why Bishop Nate cannot call himself an apostle, because he's not. He's just a lowly bishop. Okay, call him the bling bling bishop. Yeah, that's the bling bling bishop. Okay, that's the father divine of Israel. We always got to throw shots at you know, General Netanyahu, but he's trying. He's trying. So hey, we still love him. You know, we tease him a lot because we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Anyway, because he humbled himself with the lake of fire thing. He was teaching this complete utter nonsense Roman Catholic crap, mumbo jumbo. The lake of fire is an eternal hell. He had his men doing it too. So he just recently changed it over. And why do you think that is? Because he was listening to videos of Priest Danyala. Had to throw one at you, Priest. And we love you too, brother. We don't care what you say about us. We still love you. You go back. You go back just like Nate goes back. But anyway, he watches our videos. Then he considered. He said, "You know what? I'm going off. I'm gonna change that shit." And he changed it because that don't make no damn sense. The lake of fire, and he broke it down the right way on that podcast in South Africa. So he's been watching us, man. We are Nate's look. We in my Lahabian voice. We are Nate's conscience. We are Nate's conscience. That's a video right there. Anyway, let you listen. You know what? You know what? That's all I wanted. So let me go into these precepts now. There is an order. If you join a camp, you are told you got to learn. You know, maybe 3 months, 6 months, 6 months. You should be able to put the videos together. You know, you should learn a lot in 6 months. When you join the Esau's military, and then in war, you know how much training you get. Boot camp, basic training. To go to war, you get 13 weeks. That's 3 months, 3 months in a week. So you better learn how to shoot, how to do this, how to do that, how to survive in the jungle, how to do all kind of things. That's that we're talking about a week, 3 months and a week. So guess what? If you're in this thing for about six months, you should know enough scriptures to be able to sit down and do a video every day. And as you doing videos, you should be learning more. All right. Now, somebody that come in, he's in this thing for 3 months, he's still coming up, you know. But anyway, you got to do work. You got to do work. You're not in the IUIC camp to hold up a wall and count the change in your pocket. It's not. It doesn't go that way, man. That's why many guys have fallen off. You know, we've been doing this for years. I'm going on 40 years doing this. And another thing, we're the only camp. Well, Sakari goes out too. The leadership of Sakari goes out, and but the rest of these major camps, the only ones that go out are their men that are under them, because I guess they're required to. But the leadership don't go out unless it's a special occasion, unless they go to Africa. So check it out. We're always out there. We're out there just as much or more than the men that are under us. So that's the order. So you got to do things. We telling you how to do it. You can't come. Oh, that's too much. Well, if it's too much, they can leave. Okay, tap them on the shoulder and tell them, they making you do too much. You should leave. Yeah, so you can eat a missile. Because there's guys ain't doing the work. Period. You don't go out. You don't go out there out in the streets no more. You don't put up videos. Okay, that's just the truth, Ruth. So now let me go into these precepts here. Okay, first precept. I kind of titled it "Followers of Me." First precept is 1 Corinthians 11, verse 1. It says, be ye followers of me. This is Paul speaking. It says Christian order, right? Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of the Messiah. Now I praise you, brethren, which are men, that ye remember me in all things and keep the ordinances, or ordinance stems from the word order, as I delivered them to you. Next precept. And this is 1 Peter 5, verse 3. I may start at 1. I'll start at 1. 1 Peter 5, verse 1. The elders which are among you, I exhort, and them also an elder. And that's rank right there. And a witness, you can't come into a camp and just do what the hell you want to do. And a witness of the suffering of the Messiah, Hamashiach, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed, which is the kingdom. Feed the flock of the Most High. So how do you feed the flock? Doing these YouTube videos, going out on the highways and the byways, which is among you, taking the oversight. What does the word oversight mean? To be over somebody. Therefore, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucres or profit, but of a ready mind. Neither as being lords over the Most High's heritage, but being ensamples to the flock. What does it mean by being ensamples to the flock? Let's look up the Greek word. See, a lot of these people come on, watch our videos and other videos to be entertained. A lot of Jakes out there they know that the Israelites and they're being entertained. This is a form of entertainment form. Okay, the word is
Strong's G 5179 tupas.
tupas. The mark of a stroke or blow, print, a figure formed by a blow or impression, the image of the Most High form, the teaching which embodies the sum and substance of religion and represents, or spirituality represents it to the mind, manner of writing, the contents in form of a letter. So ensample, right? And it goes hand in hand with example. We can't tell them to do things and we don't do it, because we out there on the highways and the byways just like they're out there on the highways and the byways. And we're not telling them, oh, you got to do videos every day, whatever, 5 videos a week. And we're not doing that. Next precept. So I'm going to let the precept speak. Scriptures say, the Apostle Paul said, and it's in a list, let everything be done decency and in order. There's an order. There's an order. There's a rank and file. Philippians 4, verse 3. Let me do something here. Okay, think of excellence. Think of excellence. That means when you get into this thing, you're supposed to be the best that you can be, but you put your whole heart in it. Let me start from the first verse. Therefore, my brethren, this is always good to go to that first verse. Therefore, my brethren, dearly beloved and long for my joy and crown, so stand fast. Now, fast means to fasten or firm in Yahweh, my dearly beloved. The guys that fell off through the years, they didn't stand fast. I beseech EODS and beseech Syntech, whatever. These are Greek names because you had Israelites that had Greek names. Remember, they came up out of that mess with during the time of the Maccabees, Antiochus Epiphanes. That's why the New Testament speaks about the heathen and the Gentiles and the Greeks are Israelites, that they may be of the same mind in the Lord. So we got to be on the same mind. And entreat thee also, true yoke fellow, help. So Paul is saying he's in the work just like you and supposed to be in the work. Help those women which labored with me in the gospel when they didn't speak, and Clement also, and with other my fellow laborers, because Paul was a laborer too, whose names are in the what? In the book of life. That's the first resurrection. The guys that fell off, they're not in the book of life. So all that hell that Esau gonna catch, you're gonna catch that same hell in this world. Next precept. I'm moving pretty quick. Romans 10, verse 13, for whosoever shall call upon the name of Yahweh, or I'm sorry, the Lord, the superior, shall be saved. So we got to know the name. You can't be an Israelite and 12 tribe signs and out there teaching and this, that, but the name come out, oh, we don't know the name. Oh, the Most High didn't give us a name yet. But yet the Lord said to call his name. The first 10 commandments, the commandments that were given to Moses, it speaks about the name of the Father. What is the name of the Father and what is the name of the Son, if thou canst tell? How then shall they call upon him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in whom they have not heard? So where do you hear it from? The men of the Lord. And we are the men of the Lord. And how shall they hear without a what? A preacher. Now that word preacher, when you look it up, that word is a compound word. And it breaks down to the word prophet. You know, and how shall they hear without a prophet? The word prophet should be there, which is a teacher that the Most High set up to give to other men. That's how the Most High gave this word out. He gave it to certain men to give to other men. And how shall they prophesy except they be sent? These are basic, pretty much basic foundational scriptures right here. Let all things be done decently and in order. So if you have an order, then there's the rank and file. You got the top men, you got the second tier, you got the third tier, and so forth. So we tell them, man, they gotta go out, they gotta do videos. If they don't, they get kicked out the camp. Next precept, Galatians 2, verse 9. And when James, which is James the apostle, Cephas, which is Peter, and John, which was one of the apostles, and these are the same three that the Lord dealt with. You know, when they took the disciples to the side, they took these three who see because they were the top three out of the 12. Peter was over both of them, who seemed to be pillars. Pillars. A pillar does what? Holds the walls up, right? The ceiling. Perceive the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas, which this is Paul speaking, the right hands of fellowship. So they gave the order. They ordained, blessed Paul to go and teach. So when Paul had a situation, he had to go consult them. That's in Acts chapter 15. So there's an order, a fellowship that we should go unto the heathen. Now the word heathen means what? The Israelites and the heathen in a Gentile state of mind, or heathenist state of mind. And they unto the circumcision. What was the circumcision? The northern king or the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Show you that those three tribes were there. We know Judah was there. We know Levi was there, and we know because John the Baptist was a Levite. The Apostle Paul was a Benjaminite. So this is all about order. So when somebody says, "Oh, you're telling them to do too much," then they should leave the camp. They should get with another camp that you don't got to go out. You can pretty much do what the hell you want to do. And that ain't no camp. See, that's why when vocab, right? Vocab, when he speaks about the one Westers, what groups did he mainly mention? He's either mentioned IUIC, ISUPK, Sakari, or GMS. Not necessarily in that order, because they are some of the more, like Sakari was a camp that broke off, whatever situation, long story. So the leader of Sakari had men follow them. So they're considered a major camp now that stemmed from a GMS. The leadership stemmed from GMS. So when vocab speaks about camps, he mentioned them camps. And why is that? Because we're constantly on videos. We're on the highways and the byways. You know, certain controversial topics come up through these camps, like the grape doctrine came out of GMS. So we don't even deal with that no more. That's old news. We beyond that. So if you want us to really break it down, our take, you gotta come up with 50 racks. Go to the Hood Encyclopedia and look up racks. Not rats, but racks. So now we're in John 4:38. St. John 4:38. I sent you to reap that whereon ye bestowed no labor. Other men labored, and ye are entered into their labor. So whose labors did we enter into? We entered into the labors of Masha, Arya, Yaquab, and the rest of the seven. And they were considered the authorities at that time. So who's the authorities now? We are. And the mother Israelite groups that I mentioned, the major groups. So they got to teach the right thing. So they go off on certain things like the Karagma. The way we break the Karagma down, the MOTB, the Revelation 13 and 16, we break it down the right way. If you're breaking it down different, then you're going off. Point blank, period. Bottom line, bear with me for a minute. And we have the right to cast people out if they're not right. Matthew 18, verse 15. Moreover, and then you can come up a couple of verses. I'm sorry, matter of fact, let me do that. Discipline and prayer. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, or if he goes off on a scripture, well, that's Galatians 6 and 1. Go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. So that goes with if a guy is breaking, if he says Edomites can make it, you got to tell him, look, brother, you're going off. It said, but if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of two or three witnesses, every word may be established. So you got witnesses there. And if he shall not neglect, and if he shall not neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. That's the leadership, starting with the apostles 2,000 years ago. But if he neglect to hear the church, the leadership, let him be unto thee as an heathen man and a publican. So what, he was an Israelite, now he's a heathen? No, a heathen meaning we're not looking at him as a part of the fold, even though he's part of national Israel. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loose in heaven. So when there's certain guys that we had to put out, guess what? The heavens was with that. So we're connected to the heavens. Hebrews, next precept, Hebrews 13, verse 7. Remember them which have the rule over you, who have spoken unto you the word of the Most High. We taught you, whose faith follow, considering the end of their conversation. And you can read this whole chapter, but I'm gonna jump down to the but 16 verse. But to do good and to communicate, forget not, for with much sacrifices the Most High is well pleased. But to do good and communicate. We're constantly pushing out this word. So we look this word up, communicate. Fellowship, association, community, communion, joint, participation, intercourse. The share, the share which one has in anything. Participant, meaning you're not in the camp to hold to hold the wall up. I keep saying that. Meaning you got to push this word out. Let me go here to Malachi 3, verse 16. Then they that feared Yahweh spake often one to another. So when we're making these videos, we're constantly talking one to each other. Get the notification, watch a video. This video that I'm doing is based upon a video that another man did. So that was a communication there. I don't got to get on the phone and call him and say, brother, this is all right if I can do a response to that video. And he says, well, let me think about it. No, it's like a flow. And the Lord and the Lord hearkened, and Yahweh hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was remembrance, meaning what? Total recall. This is why we know that we're the Israelites, because we were the Israelites in the past. So when you come to the realization that you're an Israelite and you get fully into this, you become a teacher and you grow in this thing, that's called total recall. There was a movie called Total Recall. Watch the movie. Watch the original one. Watch the newest one too. But the Total Recall starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, they showed you, man, that they told him he was this guy and he believed it. They wiped his memory. So he had to get his memory back. Though you once knew this, the book of Jude. It says the book of remembrance. What's the book of remembrance? The scriptures was written before him for them that feared Yahweh and that taught upon his name. So we have to know his name. If you got any major Israelite group that says we don't know his name, we question his name, we got one name, we didn't get the other name, we don't know the name of the Father, but we know the name of the Son, or we don't know the name of the Son, but we got to know the name of the Father, then the Most High is not dealing with you. You need to get your pineal gland decalcified, and your spiritual pineal gland, because you can just decalcify your physical one in your head, but there's a spiritual one. Most High didn't open you up to this truth. Remember, the Most High, all these different Israelite groups and Kemet and Christianity and all this other nonsense, these are stumbling blocks that the Most High set up for you, the ones of you that ain't right. And they shall be mine, saith Yahweh, 17 verse of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels. And now what does it mean to make up my jewels? If you're gonna, like in boxing, you get a belt. So you got to make that belt, like the WBC belt. They'll put jewels on it, they'll put gold, they'll put certain things on it. So they got to make it up. If you make a crown, somebody has to make the crown for the king, right? So they got to get the right size jewels and precious stones and gold to put in the crown, to make the crown look beautiful. So the Most High is making his crown with the what? With the elect. He's choosing Israel, out of Israel, he's choosing the elect. Okay, he's one of the elect, he's one of the elect, he's one of the elect. And I will spare them as a man spareth his own son, because we are sons of the Most High. That's in St. John. To them that believe, he gave them powers to become sons of the Most High. That serveth him. We got to work for him. We're working for a prize. See, there's a reason why we out there on the highways and the byways, in season and out of season. There's a reason why we constantly do this work. It says 18 verse, then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked. So recently you had the representatives of the ICGJC come on the vocab show, and we did videos on it saying, we can see right through them. It said between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not. Okay, it says 2 Peter 1 verse 10, give diligence to make that calling and election sure, right? Hebrews 4 and 11, let's go to that. Start at 1. The believer's rest. Let us therefore fear lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, the first resurrection, any of you should seem to come short of it, because a lot of y'all are going to come short of it. That's why Peter said, give diligence to make thy calling and election sure. For unto us was the gospel preached as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them. The guys that fell off, it didn't profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. Let me jump down to the 11th verse. You can read this whole chapter. Let us labor, do the work. Go out on the highways and byways. Put up videos every day. Put up 3 videos every day if the Spirit's on you. Because my intention is to do another video later today. Now, maybe the Spirit ain't going to be on me, and maybe the Spirit will be on me. And I may do 4 videos if the Spirit's on me. Let us labor there. And the guys, you guys that ain't doing nothing, you do a video once every 2 months or once every 6 months. Or you do videos on other things that have nothing to do with the gospel. The Spirit's not dealing with you, point blank, period. Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of what? Unbelief. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing of asunder, split in half, of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, spiritual joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intent of the heart. Got a couple more precepts and we'll be out of here. This is Hebrews 6 verse 11. And we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end. My meat is to do the will of him that sent me and to finish his work. So if we tell you to do something that's scriptural, you're supposed to do it. If you don't do it, you can leave. You can move on. There's the door, as they say. Acts 15, verse 35. Paul also and Barnabas continued in Antioch, teaching and preaching the word of Yahweh, or the Lord, and many others also. Second missionary journey. Give me a second. '36 verse. And some days after, Paul said unto Barnabas, let us go again and visit our brethren in every city. And they had to physically go to these places. We don't got to do that now because you got the YouTube. If 1 billion people come on this page, 1 billion people can watch. So we're pushing this word out far more than any of the apostles did. This word is being pushed out throughout the whole world. Matthew 24, this gospel shall be preached throughout the whole world, and then the end shall come. So this gospel was preached through what? The internet, mainly YouTube. Let us go again and visit our brethren in every city where we have preached the word of Yahweh and see how they do. And Barnabas determined to take with them John Mark, well, it says John, whose surname was Mark, John Mark. Now, this devil vocab's name is what's his name? John Mark, I forget his last name. I think it's Reiser, John Mark Reiser, which is a German name. So he's a Teemanite. So it says, and Barnabas determined to take with him John, whose surname was Mark, but Paul thought not good to take him with them, who departed from them from Pamphylia and went not with them to the work. And the contention was so sharp between them that they departed asunder. They went their separate ways, one from another. And so Barnabas took Mark and sailed unto Cyprus, and Paul chose Silas and departed, being recommended by the brethren unto the grace of the, recommended by the brethren, the men that are over them, Peter and them. They had to get the approval. And he went through Syria and Cilicia, confirming the churches. So you had Israelites all over. You had Israelites in Babylon, Iraq. That's in the book of Peter. You had a church in Babylon. So this is going to be the last precept. The Apostle Paul was getting ready to be, give me a second. The Apostle Paul was getting ready to be, they were getting ready to put him to death. So he was giving these orders to the men that were still in the work, that you got to still push this work. So it says here, okay, the title is Preach the Word, right? So when we go on, when we do our videos, we're preaching the word. When we go on the highways and the byways, we're preaching the word. The more word, the more that you preach, the better. It says, I charge thee, therefore, before the Most High and the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing. And his kingdom. Preach the word, be instant or ready, in season, out of season. What does that mean? Wintertime, you got to go out. Summertime, you got to go out. Spring and fall, you got to go out. And that's happened from the main, that's what we used to do in the main school, because they read this scripture. So after all these different break-offs and so forth, you got these other camps, and these guys adopted a new thing. They take winters off. Not all of them, Like IUIC, if they're in a cold climate, they close up for the winter. So, another month or two, sometime in November, you ain't gonna see no IUIC out there unless they're in a climate that's not cold. They take the winters off. Bishop Nate doesn't even go out no more. Anytime you see him, he's in Africa somewhere, some West. If they're going on a trip, he's the main speaker. Other than that, he don't go out there and none of them guys, none of them bishops go out there on the highways and the byways no more, unless they go to some other country. It said, preach the word, be instant, already in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. So if a guy is going off, even from another camp, you're supposed to tell him you're going off. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. So you go with you follow the group that let you do what you want to do. Your teacher, he doesn't go out and speak for a whole year. Guess what? You ain't gonna go out and speak for the whole year. When he decides to go out and speak one weekend, you out there. So the scriptures say if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into a ditch. We know who the true men of the Lord are if they teach the scriptures the right way and they're diligent. So let me jump down. You can read this whole chapter. Give me a second. Like I said, read this whole chapter. Let me jump down to give me a second. Fourth verse, I'll continue to read. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry. For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. He was sentenced to death by the Roman government. I have fought a good fight. What did Paul mean by when he said, I have fought a good fight? He was doing the work diligently. I have finished my course. So I can say, I did hard. Did you fight a good fight? You got damn right I fought a good fight. I fought a good fight. Okay? I have kept the faith. And there's others out there fighting a good fight. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the word there is kairos, which means superior, the righteous judge, which is Yahweh Shai, starting with Yahweh, shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. If you love his appearing, that means you're going to do the work. That means you're going to have fear. Like I said, out of these major groups, you got certain guys in the leadership that don't go out at all. They hardly even sit down and do a video. They just in the background. You know? They ain't out there. They got their men. They put their men out there, but they don't go out there themselves. Okay, it says, title, the headline says, personal concerns. Do thy diligence to come shortly unto me, for Demas have forsaken me, having loved this present world, and is departed unto Thessalonica, Crescens to Galatia, Titus to Dalmatia. And there's a book called the Book of Titus. And Luke is with me. Take Mark and bring him with thee, for he is profitable to me for the ministry. And Tychius have I sent to Ephesus. So this is the Paul before he's being sentenced to death. He's giving orders. He said, look, you're gonna run this, look, you're gonna run that, you're gonna run this region. So he's barking orders, man. The cloak that I left at Troas with Carpus, when thou cometh, bring with thee, and the books, but especially the parchment. Alexander. So now he's getting on guys that that effed him over. Alexander the coppersmith did me much evil. Yahweh reward him according to his works. Of whom be thou were also, for he have greatly withstood my words. So whatever Paul said, Alexander was coming against the words that Paul was saying. So he said, man, this is a demon right here, man. It says, at my first answer, no man stood with me, but all men forsook me. Did that stop Paul? No, he kept teaching. I pray the Most High that it may not be laid to their charge. In other words, have mercy on them. Notwithstanding, the Lord, Akairos, the word there is, which is Yahweh Shai, stood with me and strengthened me that by me the preaching might be fully known, and that all the Gentiles, the Israelites scattered around that didn't know that they were Israelites, might hear, starting with Cornelius, and I was delivered out of the mouth of the lion. Remember, he fought wild beasts at Ephesus. And Yahweh delivered me from every evil work and will preserve me unto his heavenly kingdom, to whom be glory forever and ever, so be it. '21st verse, do thy diligence to come before winter. Eubius greeteth thee, and Pudens, these are Greek names, and Linus and Claudia and all the brethren. So he didn't tell them to change their names. Okay, you know what I want to do? Let me do this. Let me take the word Alexander. Okay, this is what I wanted. All right, this is what I wanted right here. It says, of whom is, I'm sorry, I got to go up a verse or two, and then I'm going to close. Okay. 1 Timothy 1, verse 18. This charge meaning to give an order, I commit unto thee, son Timothy, who's his son in the spirit, according to the prophecies which went before unto thee, that thou by them mightest war a good warfare, meaning do the work diligently, holding faith and a good conscience, which some having put away concerning faith have made shipwreck. What does it mean, have made a shipwreck? Meaning they came into this truth and they fell out. Hundreds of guys that came into GMS and fell out, and they just back in the world. And then some of them try to teach, but every video they made was against GMS. They didn't say nothing about Esau. They didn't say nothing about the other camps. It was just how terrible GMS, the leadership of GMS are. 20th verse, of whom is Hymenaeus and Alexander, whom I have delivered unto Satan. So you can call Satan on brothers. That ain't right. Look, nigga, I'm gonna call the beast on you. Inside joke. That they may learn not to blaspheme. Yeah, that's a true story. We were speaking on 34th. There's one Jake. We cursing him out, and he said, I'm gonna call the beast on you. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.